Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be ridiculously different. It's not a review video. If anything, it's the most controversial video I'm probably ever going to upload to my YouTube. Because today, I'm going to be telling you guys why I stuck up for an airline's policy on passengers with reduced mobility and passengers with disabilities in general. So basically about a month ago, a wheelchair user put on Twitter, asking easyJet if they could fly on their own, despite not being able to reach an emergency exit unaccompanied. Now, the answer to that is an absolute big no-no. No. If you can't reach an emergency exit on your own, you cannot fly on your own. Okay? Period. I'm going to tell you what constitutes reach an emergency exit, just for those of you, because I know there's a lot of confusion around it, and I get asked so many times throughout messages what constitutes being able to reach the emergency exit unaided. But yeah, first of all, no, it's not discriminatory. The policy is there for our best interest. It's there for our safety. It's there for your fellow passengers' safety, your crew's safety, everything, okay? I mean, I'm not being anything, but even if I couldn't fly on my own, I would still stick up for the policy, because I know from both sides the reason why that policy is there. Obviously, I've got a lot of crew friends. I would have actually been crew myself had my spine not happened. So, you know, that's something that I try and keep close to my heart. But, yeah, that's, you know, that fact's now out there. Great. So basically, I've had so many messages over this, and a lot of people have said to me, how could I stick up for a policy that just on paper to some people seems so discriminatory? And the reason why is because as a PRM, and I'm going to focus on two bits of this specific policy, which is related to PRMs. As a PRM, you naturally will impede evacuation of an aircraft anyway if an emergency situation occurs. Now, I know some of you are thinking, oh, crashes hardly ever happen now. But, there's still potential for an emergency situation to occur on a plane. Yes, flying is so much safer than what it was 20 years ago, but things still happen. There's been crashes recently where people have lost their lives because people have impeded evacuation. Okay, fair enough, by grabbing their hand luggage, but still by impeding evacuation and not listening to crew instructions, which is just my absolute biggest bane of my life when flying, is people not listening to crew. Just, guys, if you're not going to listen to your crew, don't bother flying. But with this policy, because of how much crew's workload goes up in an emergency situation from standard operations, it would not be right for any of them to have their attention diverted to just one passenger when they've got God knows how many other passengers to think about. Because when an emergency situation does happen, not only is everything time critical, but a crew's first instinct, and the thing you're taught in training as well, is you get as many passengers out as quickly as possible once those doors are opened, in an evacuation scenario. So obviously, being a PRM, you'll naturally slow that down. And for planes to be certified safe to fly, they have to be able to be evacuated in 90 seconds with only half the exits working. And that doesn't matter if it's a little regional jet or a 500-seat Airbus A380, the certification standards are the exact same with regards to evacuation. A lot of the reason for that is to do with fires on board and things like that. A fire on a plane can become unsurvivable in seconds. It's, you know, there's been crashes where planes haven't even left the ground, have caught fire, and people have died. And, you know, it's serious stuff. And whilst, thank God, it's rare that it happens, people do need to realise that these things can happen. You know, God forbid it ever happens on your flight, but it can happen. And one of the things that this whole scenario about reaching an emergency exit comes from is because crew have to focus on getting as many people out as possible, they can't try and get a passenger with reduced mobility who can't get themselves out of the plane whilst trying to get however many other people out. The other thing as well is, for those who don't know, as a PRM, if you're ever in an emergency situation that requires an evacuation, chances are your crew will tell you to not evacuate until everyone around you is off. Reason being is because you naturally impede evacuation, because you're slower, etc., etc. Which goes on to constitute what constitutes as being able to reach an emergency exit unaided. It's probably one of the biggest questions that I get asked on my day-to-day basis. So reaching the emergency exit unaided does not mean you have to be able to walk to it, okay? It means that you have to be able to reach it. So whether that's by dragging yourself there, crawling, bum shuffling, however you reach it with whatever strength you've got in your body, if you can get to that exit unaided, provided you can follow, provided you meet all the other requirements, you can fly on your own. That's also why the aisle chair transfer thing is also in the policy as well, and that you have to be able to transfer from the aisle chair to the seat back to the aisle chair unaided to be able to fly on your own. So a lot of people don't actually realise that, because obviously if you need to get to emergency exit on your own, you need to be able to get there without the aisle chair, because in 90 seconds the crew are not going to have enough time to get passengers out and get an aisle chair up for you to be able to get out of the plane. So, you know, I mean, call it discriminatory all you want if, you know, people say that you can't fly. I mean, the thing is as well, guys, is like, if you know you can reach the emergency exit on your own and you know you meet the other safety requirements and an airline still says you can't fly, like, I will happily help you guys out in, you know, complaining this, that and the other to them. However, don't try and trick an airline into thinking that you can do, like, that you can meet those safety requirements if you know you can't, because you will get found out and you will get offloaded. It's, you know, there's a very fine line between being a PRM who's able to fly on their own and being a PRM who can't fly on their own. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, I've always said, even if it turned out that I wouldn't be able to fly on my own for whatever reason, if I got worse or something, then, you know, I wouldn't even try it. I mean, when my spasms used to be really, really bad, so before we got them under control, I would not fly on my own, because I knew for a fact that if my spasms kicked off big time, we had a problem. Luckily enough, now they are so well controlled that, touch wood, I've never had a problem with spasms on flights. And to be fair, even when it's the little twitches, they don't actually affect me anyway. But when I used to have the really big ones, yeah, that was that was like a, ooh, okay, I'm not flying until they're sorted out. But no, so hopefully that sort of answers that question as to, you know, why it's definitely there for our safety and not discriminative. It purely is because of the whole emergency situation if it does happen. It's the same reason why we can't be in emergency exit seats, because PRMs naturally impede evacuation, and also because people in emergency exit seats, because of how high the workload is on crew, if you're in emergency exit rows, on the overwings, whatever, you will be asked to help out. In getting doors open, etc., etc., getting people out, like, expect it. And believe me, you know, the saying really does go, with extra leg room comes great responsibility, because honest to God, if anything ever happens on your flight, you will be asked to help out. So yeah, but I mean, the other thing that I just want to clear up quickly as well before I do go is, after this all kicked off, a few people commented that the only reason I was getting away with flying on my own was because I know crew and because of dating Alex and things like that. No. It purely is because I can meet the requirements. There's actually been flights where I've flown on friends' flights and they've been asked by senior cabin crew if I can definitely reach an emergency exit on my own, because crew are pretty much taught that if you require the aisle chair, the chances are you're not flying on your own. There's very few cases in where you are able to fly on your own, mainly because of the whole reach the exit situation. So, you know, I'm quite lucky in it because because it is just my legs that don't work and I've got a load of upper body strength that I can get myself to an emergency exit. But obviously not every person who requires the aisle chair can say that, unfortunately. So yeah, that's one rumour that I did want clearing up, because a lot of people have said, oh, it's only because you know crew and you know your way around the policy that you're able to fly. And it's like, it's because I meet the requirements that I can fly on my own. But yeah, anyway, until next time, enjoy the rest of your day. Next time, I promise the review videos are going to be coming out every Thursday. There is one coming out this Thursday coming. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the day. If you've got any questions or anything, as always, don't hesitate to message me or put in the comments below. But yeah, like I said, probably the most controversial video I've ever put up. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.